Welcome to the Orange Hammer Podcast. My name is Corbett Storick. I've been a licensed general contractor for 8+ years, specializing in new construction, renovation, furniture building. I'm the son of an architect and an interior designer, and I've been surrounded in this industry since birth, watching all aspects from concept, design, build, punch list, and of course, all the problems that come up in between. In my time in Durham, North Carolina, I've noticed a significant gap in knowledge between homeowners who need work and the people who do the work. On this podcast, I hope to break down the process of homeownership from the perspective of both the homeowner and the contractor in an effort to help raise the knowledge of homeowners about their homes and the construction/renovation process. I hope you enjoy. If you're enjoying the Orange Hammer Podcast, or if you have a topic that you want covered, or have recently done a project, please contact the Orange Hammer Podcast. The Orange Hammer Podcast is on Instagram and Facebook. Please like and subscribe, share on whatever platform you're enjoying your podcast on. Also, check out our YouTube channel, The Orange Hammer. The Orange Hammer Podcast is proud to be brought to you by CRS Contracting LLC for all your construction and handyman needs, new buildings to renovations, furniture building, EV charger install, or even a TV mounted. You can call me, Corbett Storick. It'd be my pleasure to help you. You can find me on Instagram at CRS Contracting. WSDG, the Walter Storick Design Group, specialists in architectural and acoustical consulting. Check out WSDG.com. And Taylor Bragg, for all your artistic needs in all mediums. You can find her on Instagram at brag_about_art. That's brag, BRGG, with 2 G's. She's the fantastic artist behind the Orange Hammer logo, and she did my fantastic table painting of my podcasting table. Welcome, everybody, to the Orange Hammer Podcast. Today, the founder of Poof, Sarah Huffman, has joined me today. Sarah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. We are enjoying some abnormal but very warm, beautiful 70-degree January weather. So, knock on wood that keeps continuing. Thanks again for coming on the podcast. I know this is kind of like last minute and out of the blue, but I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So, Poof, that is, in its simplest explanation, junk hauling removal service. But you've expanded that to include like new, like furniture deliveries. I think I've seen on Facebook you will run a trip to IKEA and take a list for people to go to Charlotte, because that's our closest one, which is like maybe 2.5 hour drive, pending traffic and how far and how fast. So tracking back just a little bit, where did it start?
So my dad's been in construction his entire life, and he owned his own business for like 25 years in Richmond, Virginia. And I used to help him on job sites, just cleaning up all the debris, all the extra brick, concrete, flooring, shingles, whatever he needed. And it just sort of helped the momentum of the job and helping people feel good about just having a clean space to work in. And so I love the physical aspect of it. I love loading a truck. I love going to the dump. So I just saw it as a need. And then I had a pickup truck. People started asking me to do stuff. And I was like, well, I just need to make this into a business because people need this.
Yeah, I mean, your simplification is short, but it could not be more spot on. I mean, you know that I am a GC. The listeners know that I'm a GC, and a cleaner job site is a faster job site. It's a safer job site. It's more appealing when you tour, the next sub that's coming in when there isn't trash everywhere, because they come in and see trash and think they can just leave trash, whereas if like, having a designated dumpster or a dump spot, whatever. So was your dad, he was doing like whole home construction?
Yeah. I mean, he built churches. He did a lot of brickwork. He did a lot of concrete work. He did little stuff like mailboxes and repairs and driveways and,
everything.
I just used to, as he used to say, fart around with him and just ride with him in the truck and, take off with a pile of stuff and then come back.
Yeah. What do you think the first, like, friend saw you had a pickup truck and was like, can you do this for me? What do you think the first one was that you could remember?
I mean, definitely in Raleigh, just people buying stuff off Craigslist, need a couch delivered, need their old one removed. So for a long time, that 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. convenience center, 7 days a week,
Yeah.
where you could go for free. Any resident can go for free pretty much in any city.
Absolutely.
Now, of course, we're banned from those locations because we're, an LLC and an actual business. So we have to go.
Got to go to the pay dump, but it's
Correct.
still not like it's by the pound. It's not too bad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some, I know the one in Durham does like by the pound or like below the rails of the truck bed is like a flat fee. So you can really get away with that depending on the density of your material. Right. If you have a truck bed full of bricks, you're really stealing on that one. Yeah.
Right.
And the like, I noticed that the quality of material, like, it's not really relevant to you. You just look at it as dollar bills. Because sometimes I see pictures of halls, and I'm like, Joe, that's a nice bookcase that needs paint and sanding, and could be like hundreds. And I don't have time, don't have a place to store it, don't care. If you want it, come get it, and it's never quick enough because you're so Johnny on the spot. I feel like your pictures are posted as you're throwing it into the dump with the other hand somehow. Do you do all your own like Facebook, social media?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, and is that all your advertising?
Yep. I don't do any paid advertising. We just went to the recent junk convention in Raleigh, and pretty much all of those people are paying high amounts of money to advertise. And we just said we don't advertise. It's just really Facebook. I have 5,000 friends on Facebook. I've been here 25 years. I went to Meredith, taught at Meredith for 20 years. So I just feel like my presence in Raleigh, working at the Y with 26,000 members as a fitness director. So I just feel like people know me and want to support a small business.
Yeah.
And word of mouth is everything, as you know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure I only found you through word of mouth, and we've hired each other just because we're both small businesses and we also know that we can get it done. I mean, you did, I think like one of my sites, we were too far in the progress to justify the cost of a dumpster. So we were just like, pile it right there on the ground. And then I called you to be like, that whole pile in the front of the house, like we're cleaning now. So it's got to go. So my guy can mow and whatever. And then I don't remember exactly what I did. I think something on one or a few times on the same rental property, I think there was like some tub caulking and maybe like flooring or something like that. I can't really remember. It's been a couple of years now. So yeah, diving into, or just a little bit more pooping on you grew from the one pickup truck. How many trucks do you have now?
So we have 3 pickup trucks and we have a 15-foot box truck.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
and you'll, whether it's trash or something new, you'll haul it. And is there any distance too far? You just calculate what you need to make money off of it.
Yeah. I mean, we've been to the beach. We've been, Fayetteville, Fuquay, Raleigh, Durham, Cary. I mean, wherever. Yeah.
It's amazing. So for listeners, if they need that service, what's the easiest way? Is it just Poof Be Gone Facebook page? Do you have a number you can give out?
Yeah. I mean, just go to the Poof Be Gone Facebook page. As you know, you just take a picture of your pile, just assemble it. You don't have to be home. You don't have to be awake. Once I get the picture and you give me that approval to come, it's gone within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Usually same day service.
Yeah. That's amazing. How do you go about finding your workers?
So I have one guy now that works like 70 hours a week. He absolutely loves it. And he's got 5 kids and he loves working. And then the rest are female. I've got 1 male and the rest females. And then I have 1 girl that works on the weekends and then me. And we can just get a lot of stuff done during the day because we work 7 to 5 Monday through Saturday. Okay.
So they're full-time employees. I mean, or are they 1099 or how do you do that?
They're 3 are are just regular employees, W-2s.
W-2s,
and then 1 is 1099.
Gotcha.
And I basically do not make them work any specific hours. So one of my favorite things about working for anyone is the flexibility. And I wanted, when I started my own company, to make sure that they knew that family was first. They needed to go to their kids', science fair during the day, that they should do that and not feel bad about it as just part of their day. And I think because of that, I've been able to retain everybody that I have.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a very good like culture of a business rather. I mean, there's not to say that anybody could work anywhere, but almost anybody could almost work anywhere, and that definitely sets you apart.
Right.
I mean, that flexibility, that's that small business mindset. And also, it seems like you have no lack of work. They're not like, oh, are we working tomorrow? Am I going to get that paycheck? Seems like you guys are, right. Or you people. I don't mean you guys like that.
Us fairies. Us
yes.
fairies.
Yeah. Us dump fairies. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So moving into the rental, you have quite the collection of rental houses. Yeah. I think at one point you had 7.
So I had 6.
You had 6.
I had 6.
Okay.
I started in 1998 when I was 22 years old, graduated from Meredith, and I bought a house for $103,500 in Brentwood. And from there, of course, the economy was great at that point. You could get a loan with your 700 and some credit, no problem. So I just kept buying houses and kept moving into new houses as primary residences because I didn't care where I lived. So yeah, I had gotten up to 6.
So you'd buy it, move into it,
yep.
make it your primary house, yep. then buy the next house, move into that, yep. and then the first house keep as a rental.
Correct.
And just keep hopping.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Because I didn't care where I lived. I didn't have kids. I didn't have pets. It wasn't really.
Why did you hop instead of just acquiring another house?
I don't know. I just did it that way for variety. I mean, I loved meeting new people. I've probably had 300 different roommates, and some of them are my best friends still today. So I just enjoyed that newness of the month to month. Everything was month to month. I had all the bills in my name, all the electric, gas, water, cable. They just paid one fee, and it was easy. If it didn't work out, 30 days notice, we move on.
So you rent your houses by the room?
Yes.
All of them?
Not now, but at the time, yes.
At the time, it was by the room. Gotcha.
I, at one point, had about 29 tenants.
That's a lot to keep track of.
Yes. So at 47 years old, almost now, I decided 3 is a more manageable more number to have when you have a business, and I'm trying to run that as well. So right now, one of my best friends lives in my first house with her boyfriend. And then I have somebody in the garage apartment on that property that my dad built. And the second house is 4 college kids from NC State, 4 guys. They live on Wade Avenue looking at Whole Foods. And then the one beside that, I actually turned over to, excuse me, an organization called Sherlock's Homes. And they help LGBT kids that have been kicked out of their homes have a place to stay and a place to live. So they're actually an organization run by my friend Jacob.
Very cool. Okay.
So that is totally self-managed. Their organization pays the rent on that and has all the bills in their name.
Wow. Okay.
So if that goes well, my goal is, that's my dream, is to help LGBT youth. And
keep adding your homes to that organization?
Yes. So as the college kids move out and they don't want to renew, it's an opportunity for Sherlock's to take them.
Gotcha. Okay. Very cool. So
and I'll never kick out my,
your friend. Best friend.
Right. she can live there till she dies.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. And you said you've got your first one right out of college?
Yep. 22.
And what was the driving force to that? Not a lot of 22-year-olds right out of college start thinking about real estate, their future, finances. Right. Well, some people are like, let's buy a car or go travel or, right. Whatever, fill in the blank. So that's a very, that's a mature move at an immature age. So what do you think? Do you think there's influence from your, like dad being in construction where you were like, there's literal money in real estate? So
people ask this question a lot, and it's actually, my grandfather.
Right. So I was asking you, how at 22 do you make a very mature decision at a very immature age to start going into real estate?
Okay. So my grandfather and my grandmother were married for 70 years. They just passed away in 2020, both in the year of COVID, unfortunately. But I was the oldest grandchild of 6 on my mom's side. And my grandfather owned his own business, Progressive Engineering. He made gears for roller coasters. That's cool. Like the Big Bad Wolf at Busch Gardens. He did that one.
I've never been to Busch Gardens, but I grew up on the upper East Coast, so Six Flags, but I like roller coasters.
Yes. So he did that. And he taught us from a very young age about investing. He was always glued to the the stock market channel and, you know, trying to figure out what the stocks are doing. So he told us from ever since I was 11 and could start babysitting and making money, if we give him our money, he will match it if we invest it.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So basically, I gave him all of my paychecks, every single bit of money that I made, just trusted him. And so at 22, I had $50,000 in IBM stock to put towards a down payment to that house. So basically paid for half of the house at 22.
That's amazing.
And he gave that opportunity to all of his grandchildren. Only myself and my younger sibling Josh, or younger cousin Josh, took him up on the offer.
Wow. Well, you two were the smart ones. My grandfather very much in a different logistical way also was gave the opportunities to his grandchildren, not me being one of them. And I am 100% know that I wouldn't have been able to buy my home or start my business, which again are pretty mature things at a right out of college age, to not just like, oh, well, let's go buy a Ferrari or whatever, you know? So, you know, that's pretty cool. I didn't actually realize that we had such a similarity of influence from specifically the grandfather. My grandfather was very into investing, very smart dude. Every time the stock market went down, he would say, well, what are we buying?
Right.
They go, well, it went down. It's a good time to buy something. Good time to get in.
Right.
And I always thought that was a weird saying as a young kid who didn't know what the heck that meant. And now as an adult, I'm like, what a genius. That's what he's right there. He's pictured behind you for me to look every day in this office. That's his like boardroom photo from the company he ran for like, I don't know, 50 years or something like that. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. He ran what was it? He was, I think the term was a commodities merchant. He ran basically like a massive import-export company, importing everything from all over the world to everywhere all over the world. So he was just like a master shipping genius, from specialty nails to wire to cocoa to like cardboard boxes. Cool. Yeah. Fair Brothers, I think is what it's called. But yeah, the stories and the stamps in the passport as a young kid, those were fun for him to show. And especially the pictures of him traveling, like the like nice dress attire that everybody on a plane, like, oh my God, like suits, overcoats, umbrella, like dressed to the nines. Flash forward to today and it's like flip flops and sweatpants and like, these are my travel comfy Crocs or whatever. So circling back to the investment and the home, so your grandfather, he kicks ass in that regard, makes you money, true to his word, you buy the house. When you buy the house, are you thinking, this is a smart move for me to buy my house to live in? Or are you thinking from day one, like, this is going to be an investment?
Yes, investment, 100%. I figured out at 22 that I not only could get or didn't have to pay to live, but people would actually pay me to live and still be excited about where they live and the amount that they were paying. So let's say my mortgage was like $735 back in the day. I don't know why I remember that, but I do. And I rented out 2 rooms for $350 a piece. And then they paid a third of the bills. So, I mean, at this point, I'm making money to live in my own home.
Right.
The only caveat is you have to be okay with living with other people. And most people aren't. And that's...
Yeah, like I'm not. Yeah.
Right. Anytime anybody ever complains about money, the first thing I ask them, like, hey, I'm struggling or whatever's happening with them, the first thing I ask them is, do you have extra rooms in your home? Do you have a basement? Do you have a separate entrance? Do you have a garage with a garage apartment? Like something that you can rent to bring in $700, $800, $900 a month.
Yeah, because that could literally be a mortgage. It could be or enough of a mortgage. Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely.
So I figured that out at a very young age that, oh, wow, I don't have to pay to live. And then when I got married in 2009 and my husband was like, we don't have roommates, we're married. I was like, what are you talking about? We have all these extra spaces. Why are we not renting them? That was sort of my like kick in the teeth of, this is not someone I want to be with because they don't have the same mentality that I do.
That was really the big
Oh, it's huge.
Like, obviously, I'm sure there were other things
Right.
that maybe why a marriage fell apart, and we don't have to jump into
Right.
that. But that was honestly like the biggest red flag.
Well, just that entrepreneur spirit of like, we don't use this room. We're never home. Why are we wasting this ability to help someone else? Right? It's a win-win situation. Everyone needs a place to live. We are already down places to live in Raleigh. Like, and it was that way back in the day too.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. I literally, my whole entire job is buying homes, gutting them and making them into beautiful homes that anybody would flip, but I hold them as a rental property. So I literally I get it. But at the same time, I rented a house with roommates starting as early as junior year in college, senior year, same thing. And then, I don't know, 2.5 years on the West Coast, I, rented a room in a 4-bedroom house. I just rented a room. So like, the rooms, a few of the rooms had couples. So like 6 of us with one bathroom. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. Like, I want to sit on my couch in my living room with my shirt off, with my dog on the furniture, not questioning if I used a frying pan for my meat for a vegan roommate, which happened. And I was just like, this is, not my life. And I don't judge anybody who enjoys that.
Right.
And on the flip side of that coin, there are totally evenings where I'm like, if I had a roommate to split the pizza I'm craving, to watch this hockey game that I'm watching alone, that'd be kind of cool.
Right.
But the same side of that coin is like all the things I just mentioned, where it's like, are those few moments where I'm a little lonely worth all the like having to share all my spaces? And like, I don't want you to use my grandmother's knives and like have access to my garage with my power tools. And like, now the driveway's full. I gotta, move your car. I gotta go to work, just like things like that could happen that like, obviously you have figured out ways around, or they just don't bother you, or both.
Right.
But everybody's
different. And now, my partner Natalie, we rent out 3 rooms. She's got a 4-bedroom place. The way the house is separated, I mean, Is
this the one that I had dinner at?
It's in Garner, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is very nicely separated. And I remember even like in the middle of dinner, 1 or even 2 of you at separate times, roommates came home, very not disturbing the way they entered. One brought donuts. Like it was I was like, I get it. Like, again, I see both sides of the coin. I am choosing to operate on the other side of the coin. But again, there's no judgment.
Right.
Like,
and bottom line, when it's your home, it's up to you. It's
for
month
sure.
to month. If it doesn't work out, you are in complete control to say, you know what, this is not working out. Here's your 30 days notice.
That is interesting that you strictly do the month to month, because we are on the exact opposite. We are in the 1, sometimes 2-year lease because of the just like not having to deal with it. I don't know how you do it, and my next question will be for you to talk about that. But like, when we find a person, we've bought a house, you got a house, we make it beautiful, okay? And then my realtor works for a company, Weston Woodall, and they have a rental division. So one of the higher ups on that rental division will tour the house, take pictures, and put it on their rental, the equivalent of the MLS for houses for sale. But that also means they're taking pictures. They're promoting it. They're going to call me in 3 weeks when it hasn't gotten enough clicks to figure out if the price is right or whatever. They're going to do the background checks. They're going to charge people, an application fee. They're going to do all that crap. And then they're going to call me and go, I found John and Jane Doe. And if you check your email, there's their background, their credit, their whatever, everything for you to just gloss over with me and my partners, who, oh, by the way, are my family, as everybody knows. And we then say yes or no. And if they don't have a pet, it's that simple. If they have a pet, I go, still a yes. I got to meet the pet first, because for some reason I am a pet whisperer, where I can interact with the dog and go, okay, you're not going to scratch the drywall or bite the mailman. Because we're very pet friendly in the way that we build our homes. We use no carpet and we use industrial grade flooring. And because everyone in my family has a pet, we've had dogs my whole life. So for us to be like, you can't have your dog, that would be like you being like, you can't help the LGBTQ community.
Right.
Like that's like, no, not okay. We're having dogs. Like,
Right.
so I just have to meet the dog and be like, oh, hey, cool. Your dog's awesome. That's it. Like sometimes it's that quick. Yeah. So we remove that stress. We give it to somebody. They charge a month's rent. So basically when we get the security deposit and the first month's rent, we just give half of that to Weston Woodall, and then they give it back to me. I am the, maintenance guy if something breaks. And as the GC / carpenter I'm GC on all, but I'm carpenter on some. I know how it's built. So the stuff should not break. And if it does, it's probably a quick fix or, faulty dishwasher's faulty dishwasher. What are you going to do? So it's relatively on, auto. Oh, and speaking of auto, we simply just require auto pay. It's not an option. People have given us resistance. It's just, if you can't figure out auto pay, find another place to live. Mm-hmm. Like, we are not going to hound you on the 5th for the rent, $20 charge a day. It's just not in the cards. If you don't have a big boy enough bank account to link to our bank, which is a big boy enough bank to do auto pay, or at least like most banks will just mail a check. It's not complicated. Now, it doesn't even have to be direct deposit, but it just has to be auto.
Right.
And so like once we put that as the last page lease addendum, that changed everything. Mm-hmm. That changed everything. Oh my God. So many phone calls, and I'll be there in an hour, or I'm going to drive it and put it in your mail, but could you come pick it up? No, I'm not coming to pick up your rent. This is your rent. Like, do you want me to call the sheriff and have me throw your shit in the street? I don't want to do that. That's like so embarrassing. And people don't even realize what it does to their credit. It destroys you. Like, yeah. But anyway, there's like my rant on auto draft, but that's how we've set up our situation. We have like 9 rentals now, and they're all like doing really, really well. The last thing we had was this last 3 weeks ago with the freeze. The heat stopped, and they had to go cut something that was frozen and whatever. So you, with your month to month, do you have, obviously you have a lease.
Right. Well, that's at Natalie's house. Yeah. Everything is month to month. Because again, we're living with the people. So it's to our advantage to set it up month to month so that we can kick them out in 30 days if it doesn't work out. Right.
But you said earlier that at one point,
yes,
it was all month to month.
I was doing all month to month, but now it's different.
So now you've moved to year leases?
Let's see.
6 month, 2 years?
A year for the boys, the college boys. I think the Sherlock's is a year. And then Robin, she's my friend, so it's month to month.
Right. But that's kind of like a
right.
permanent, or until she wants to move on. Yeah.
So, yeah. But they, they all pay. It's automatic for the boys. And like you were talking about, their moms put it in.
So the long-term stuff you have on, what about like the month-to-month people you live with at Natalie? Like on the first of the month, do they hand you a stack of hundreds?
They slide money under the door, or I think one of them does auto pay. And the other one, I think she slides money under the door too. But again, Natalie lives there. It's fine. She gets the money when it comes under the door.
Right. Right. It's different when you live there, because you could literally be like, okay, I see you in the kitchen every morning. It's now the 4th. Like,
right.
Hey, bro.
And the beauty of actually all 3 of those girls, we never see them. Sharon works 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. at Amazon. So she sleeps when we're gone and works when we're there.
She's loading those trucks at the distribution center.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly she does,
all
but
night.
She's worked a ton with the holidays. And
my God, I couldn't even imagine. The overtime must be insane with the holiday.
She's made a lot of money. She's never late on rent.
Yeah, there you go. Hire people with good jobs. Simple solution. Yeah.
And then the other 2 girls work from home, and one of the girls just got back from Chicago, 3 months taking care of her mom, but she wanted to secure her room. So she just kept paying rent, but lived in Chicago for 3 months.
Right. So she would just like bank transfer or whatever once a month.
Because she knew she didn't want to come home to having somebody else rent her spot, because it's so hard to get a place.
Yeah. And it sounds like you have, I don't mean this in any negative connotation, but it sounds like you're undercharging your rents for
it's only $650.
The availability of
it's cheap.
Good housing for people.
It's $650. Pays all. Includes a maid, gas, water, electric, washer, dryer. I mean, everything's included.
That's for the one room in Natalie's.
Correct.
But even like the houses, like
houses, the boys pay $735 a person times 4.
I guess that's not really undercharging, and that's a good amount for them. Yeah,
but I pay the bills. I pay gas, water, electric, washer, dryer.
Our tenants pay the bills.
Right.
Yeah.
And well, that's at the boys. I mean, all my houses are different.
Right.
I keep the bills in my name at 2 of the houses, and then Sherlock Holmes takes their bills.
We try to make it uniform. We try to make all of ours like copies of each other. We have one property where we pay to mow the lawn. So I just send my lawn guy and I'm like, add that to, he mows a couple lawns for us. But like with the exception of that one property, like all of our tenants have all their utilities in their name. They choose their internet providers. And like I send a gutter cleaner. They got to do their own lawns. And yeah, so we've gone the opposite. When they move out, we've been pretty lucky, honestly. Pretty much everybody that's moved out has been like, "We love your house, but we're building a new one."
Right.
And I'm like, "Good for you!" Like I'm secretly sad they didn't hire me, but I'm like, "Good for you." This is a stepping stone. Like we love the income, but we don't expect somebody to rent this house for 40 years. Like we don't even want to own them for that long. So if you. Yeah, so we've just kind of gone a little bit different, but it's interesting how all of yours are different. Like you don't have a blueprint. You just kind of like figured out which one worked the best way. And when you downsized from 6 homes to 3 homes, was that just time to put some money elsewhere or just to relieve some stress, all the above?
Yeah, I mean, just, my grandparents did a lot of my loans because my grandfather he charged us interest. I mean, I think at the time it was like 5 or 6%. But he would give us loans instead of going through the bank. He was the bank for most of my family, even my parents. So what was the question?
I was just curious as to the downsize. Like when you sold the 3 houses, were they just at like the peak amount of money you could make? You rented them for enough years?
No, not really. I was overwhelmed by all of them.
Gotcha.
And I was like, let's just get rid of 2 in Brentwood. Some tenants had destroyed them at that point. So I was like, I just sold them as is. I was just at my point. I was at my
just time.
This is too much.
Mentally, time. Yeah.
Getting calls at midnight. Someone ate my ice cream. Somebody's breathing outside my door. Because you're putting people together that don't know each other. When you do room to room, right? Month to month, room to room. You're putting grown-ass adults in a house together. Sometimes it's a gamble.
Yeah. Those are calls I would not entertain.
Well, and for me, over the 22 to whatever, how many years I did this, 20 to 25 years that I did this, I mean, the stories are great. I should write a book. I mean, like these
I would help
tenants.
produce that book.
Oh
just
my God.
FYI.
These
if you
tenants
need like funding for the publishing and printing, like I love this idea. Stories
Oh
of
my
tenants.
God.
I've got a few.
They're
You could do
amazing.
like one guest chapter. I got a story. I didn't know about her documented mental issues till she told me about them in a letter after when she said I threatened her with a gun.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
stories.
I've got some stories. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you get the good stories where, they
true.
come together and somebody has a car, somebody knows how to cook, you're bringing people together that don't have family, that don't have friends, that can bond together in a housing unit.
This is true. Yeah.
And really like help each other out. So the stories have been good stories. I've gotten letters that said, "Thank you for giving me a chance. I had bad credit. I had bad criminal history, and you gave me a chance. And now look what I'm doing. Here's the last $50 I owed you." I mean, like, good stuff.
Those make the soul feel good.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
It's hard to weigh that,
And who's going to give you a chance, right?
Yeah.
When you come out of jail, where are you going to live?
Yeah. We have rolled the dice with some lower credit tenants, and I gotta say, I'm not gonna shout out their names on here just because I haven't asked them if that's cool, but they completely surprised. Their auto pay never an issue. They have even had the weird sense to like not bother me with a loose doorknob, but then when like something big broke, be like, "Hey, since you're coming, we've got like 3 kind of minor things," and I'd be like, "Oh, no problem." Like I would have, by the way,
driven the 8 minutes to fix that loose doorknob, but it's more convenient to go there and fix 4 things at once. That, you know, a loose doorknob's going to happen, people, you know, or like the toilet paper holder fell off the cleats that are on the wall, you just to put it back on and tighten the screw, you know, or whatever, stupid stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, we have rolled the dice. I'd say twice we have rolled the dice, and I gotta say, I think we're going on maybe 6 or 7 years of tenants, and I've got really only like 1 people moved out and it wasn't clean enough. And when I said the cleaning people's coming out of your deposit, they gave me some crap, but I was like, I'm taking $100 to give these cleaning people, you left cockroaches under the sink. Like, if you want to argue, let's argue. And then one lady, like, who I aforementioned, that would be the story for your book, like, I had to redo the whole bathroom. She ran the shower when she wasn't in it on super hot to build mold on purpose. And like, you know, I had to rip the sheetrock out of the whole upstairs bathroom, and like, we don't even own that house. It was so annoying. But or we don't own that house anymore, I should say. So, but I would say for the most part, and it's luck. We've been lucky. It's luck, because you can do background checks and you can check credit and you can meet their dog, and everybody can smile for 5 minutes, and everybody can say there's no problem, and everybody can give you the same, you know, and say like, oh yeah, you know, if there's this, we'll call you. And then they just don't do it. And it's like, well, at the end of the day, you are taking a person at their word. I mean, a lease is really, at the end of the day, a lease is, what do we do when the worst happens? In hope, and most of the time actuality, you don't need a lease when things end. Hey, we're not going to re-up. We're moving to another state, or we just bought a house or whatever. Cool. Good for you. I'll send my painters when you leave. We'll re-rent it. But like, when things end bad, you go to the lease. So it's definitely a lot of luck. I wish there was like another, you know, explanation, because you can do all the things that we've mentioned. But so I'd like to end, if you would. Obviously, we just both are agreeing and nodding a lot, and I said it 5 times, that it is a lot of luck. But for people listening who might be younger and love the idea of getting into real estate, and you know, not everybody has, you know, my grandfather left me a little dough. Your grandfather loaned you dough and invested dough. So like, our success stories are very much, we weren't stupid, and we have a lot of family help. So beyond those 2 things, what's some advice that maybe you would give like somebody younger trying to get into the real estate world?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure like yourself, you've worked hard since you were young. And I mean, I started babysitting at 11. I worked at the pool at 13. I worked at Kingston Minion 80 hours a week, starting at 15 in the summers, and just gave my grandfather all of that money to invest. And so I think work ethic is huge. You got to look at yourself and who you are. If you are an extreme extrovert and you enjoy meeting new people, I think that's the perfect opportunity to buy a home and rent out the rooms. Let your people pay for you to live. And then you can continue and buy more houses and move on with more people until you establish whatever relationship you want to. And they say, you know, we're not going to have roommates anymore.
Right.
Like in my case. But, you know, who's to say that you can't do that? I mean, my partner now was married for 14 years. Her wife did not want to have roommates. She meets me. She tells me her idea. And I said, that's genius. I will help you, because I had the experience doing it. And we did it the next day. And her mortgage is overpaid every month. So, you know, I really want people to look at themselves and say, okay, can I live with other people? Because this is the best way to bring in extra income, is to use your home, use your investment, to build wealth and to continue to buy houses and do that.
Yeah. Really reinvest the equity you're investing in yourself. And you that work ethic, you know, that, I don't know if like a lot of 11-year-olds are dreaming to work. Where do you think that comes from?
Oh, definitely my dad.
From your dad, just being a hardworking construction guy all the time. Yeah.
All the time. I mean, he apologizes to this day for like not being at our games and things like that. My mom was the stay-at-home mom, and she went to most of the things. But, you know, he apologizes to this day for not being there. And I said, Dad, you gave me something way more valuable, and that's work ethic. Like, you worked hard. You took care of us. Like, we were able to do the things that we were able to do because of what you did. You know, just grinding. I mean, he's just a grinder.
Yeah, my pops is like that too. He not in the physical way. In fact, quite the opposite. He's an architect, so he's designing the house or the job that your dad's then going to build. But the same work ethic grind. I mean, we would have to, call the office, which was 100 yards away. I'd call it over and over. Hey, Pop, it's 7:45. Your workers left at 5.
Come to dinner.
We got home at 3 from school. Mom is mad. Come to dinner. Like, you need to come up now. It would be like, that would be the 4th call.
Yeah.
And, I say that and I'm like, ooh, I'm kind of angry at that memory. But just like you, I look at the bigger picture and I'm like, am I actually mad at that, or is it just like kind of I'm getting amped at remembering it? And in reality, he taught me how to grind, and like I put that grind into certain things, whether it's the gym, or I know you're a big fitness person too, and like I think that helps with the mental toughness to by putting ourselves through something that is maybe not so much fun. We're then like, oh well, I just did that. Now going and hauling that dump load is not, or for me building that deck, well, comparatively, that's easy. So it's all about, the mental overcome, that goes full circle, I feel like.
Yeah, just have something that, having a passion, having something that drives you and just going for it. Lazy people are not attractive to me. I mean, I'm sorry.
I don't know if lazy is attractive to anybody. Like, you were about to say the word video games.
Playing video games for 18 hours.
Okay, for 18 hours. That distinction, that's different.
Right.
Yes,
I mean,
18 hours is different.
Yeah, let's have a little,
Unless you're getting paid millions of dollars by EA Sports. Then
maybe.
Good for you. Then you found a niche. But if you're just playing COD, which I think is still Call of Duty and I think is still popular. I sold game systems at PS3, so I'm so many behind. Yeah. That I'm just not in that world. I was not good enough. I remember in college, my roommate, he was like, I got a PS3 and I bought Call of Duty, and my roommate, like 4 seconds after I turned it on, he's just like, I'm like, okay, so you're who's designed to play this game, and I just realized I bought a $350 Blu-ray player. Because that's what I'm going to use this box for, because I am not good enough to play with these professional dudes online from all over the world who are just, I was like, yeah, and I just never got back into it. I think I tried to buy a Wii, or I tried to get into the Wii for the sole purpose of how do I move around more. I was like, I'll just play Wii Sports and like burn some calories at 8 o'clock at night instead of watching Netflix. And I did that for, I don't know, 3 weeks, and then it just started to collect dust. Yeah. I sold it to somebody or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. So video games are not my jam either. But no, I don't think lazy people are attracted to anybody. I love to be lazy. Let's clarify. I love to be lazy, but I don't think lazy is attractive to anybody. No. Like, when you go on a vacation and you want to lay by the pool for 4 hours, is that being lazy? Yes. But are you a lazy person? No, clearly you're not a lazy person. It's a vacation. Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah. Don't get it twisted. I mean, work hard, play hard, but
and relax hard.
Yeah. But it's attractive to get up and make your bed and go work out and, like have your entire day ahead of you at 6 a.m.
Do you make your bed every day?
Oh yeah.
I make my bed every day.
Yeah. It's like
when
one of the best things.
When did you start doing that?
Oh.
No, seriously.
Little. I mean, we were taught that. It was one of our
who taught you that?
Mom and Dad. Checklist on the chart. You have to do the checklist.
So, I come from, full disclosure. I'm not trying to hide anything, and I'm not embarrassed of my upbringing. I come from more of a silver spoon, and we had a housekeeper.
We did too.
I never
had a
maid.
It was
I never made my bed. But then I go to boarding school, and the dorm dad, whatever you want to call him, Robert. He was like, if I check your room at 10 a.m., because he would check while we were in class, he would like check all our rooms. He was like, and your bed is not made, You will finish school, go to sports, come back, shower, and you will not leave your room the rest of your night. You'd be roomed, quote unquote. It was like grounded. He was like, I almost don't care about anything else, but if your bed is not made, and I was like, is this guy for real? And I'm not kidding. One day I like got sent back to my dorm because it's boarding school and I was sick, and they were like, go home, which is to your dorm. So I'm literally all day. And then my mother lived close enough, even though it was a boarding school. She came and picked me up at like 7:00 at night and was like, I'm bringing you home. You're really sick. And I didn't make my bed at 7:00 at night, sick, when my mother came. And then there was like a note on my door that, like, when I came back, like, you're roomed for this day, not made. I was like, Robert, really, bro? Like, I respect it, but, and I think he actually let me slide. He was like, I didn't know you were sick or whatever. But that got taught into me at 13 when I had to learn how to do laundry. And then here's the kicker. At 14, or no, it got taught to me at 14. At 15, now I'm still at boarding school as a sophomore. When I'd go home for break, I wouldn't let Ann, the housekeeper, make my bed. I'd be like, Ann, you have enough stuff to do. I can handle that. Like, I can make my bed. I think I can do my own laundry. Yeah. Like, and, you know, I don't know I don't know if it was like, I don't know. I don't have even sitting back, thinking back on it, I'm like, I'm not really sure why I didn't let her do that. But, you know, even now I'm 31, and it's like, making the bed it's ingrained. Like, if I forget some mornings, I'll make the bed before I go to bed. Like, the bed's less comfortable if you get into it and it's not made. It's like a mental thing, I think.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. All right, we're gonna end it there on making your bed.
All right.
Mental toughness.
Yes.
Get out there and start your own business and invest in property.
Sounds good.
I want to thank you again for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Goodbye, everybody.